humans, I'm Yoshiller, and welcome back to some more Animal Crossing New Horizons. Today is day 281, and continuing a tradition that I've had since the 11th day of this series, every 10 days I do a multiplayer video for this series, with the exception of one day, which was Thanksgiving, but I had a multiplayer video on the day before that, or 2 days before that. So I think I'm in the clear. But that means that today is a multiplayer video, and I've got a guest with me. Would you like to say hello?
Hello, it is I,
Yeah, so
Pikanjo.
Pikanjo's been a regular guest on this series, and Pikanjo, today is the day. You and I are gonna craft the same 2 items over and over again. We've done this before, but today it's just you and me, no distractions. I'm gonna bring you, well, quick temporary distraction before I actually open my gates. You do what you need to do in the meantime too. But once you're here, we're crafting items all day. Pikanjo.
Oh,
Is it Pikanjo or Pikanjo? I've been saying Pikanjo.
either way works. I probably say, yeah, I'm trying to think how I say it. I think I say Pikanjo, but Pikanjo is fine too.
It's your name, and best make sure that I say it correctly. Now, CJ is on my island. I saw him on the title screen. I'm not sure if I have 3 of a specific fish that I want to give him. I'll check in a moment. Do I have anything for Stu? I suppose I do. Stu, wait, is today the day you give me your photo? That would be very nice if it was. Here, this is for you.
Ooh,
Here,
yeah.
Stu, you can have antique console table. Come on, give me your photo. Let's start today off strong. It is...
Oh, wow.
Okay. Blue paint flooring. That is not his photo. Alas, the struggle continues. Right, are there any quick Nook Miles plus achievements I can knock out today? Build a snow person. I should do that. I'm gonna do that. And wouldn't you know it, one of my
doing right now
for today is to craft items, so that'll be perfect for when you're here. But for now, build a snow person. I'm gonna head to the airport. I'm gonna mail out 5 items real quickly, and then I'm gonna open my gate, and then we will be all set, Pikanjo. It will be so good. There we go. Open that up. Alright, so will the dung beetle model fit right here? Yes, it will. I got a new bottle. Got it from my little trophy garden. There it is. Just like that. Dung beetle. Okay. Speaking of, why don't you push that into the water now? Okay, I scared it away. I wanted to catch it, but I scared it. There was a dung beetle pushing the snowball. They always want to push it into the water.
Yesterday when I was building my snowman, I made the base for it, and as I'm making the other one, I swear it's like, is my snowman moving? And it was moving the really large part.
I've had both. I've had
unexpected.
both parts be pushed at the same time by 2 different dung beetles. It is trippy.
Here we go. Nope.
Alright, I gotta make this snowball as large as it can possibly be, and then I'll make another snowball, and we'll roll it along this dirt path, and we will hope for the best that I make a perfect snow person today, and then I'll be all the more closer to knocking out that major Nook Miles achievement. Here we are.
I have a lot of difficulty putting the snowman together. Sometimes it looks like it's perfect, and it's like, why is it not connecting?
I have that issue too. Jughead explained to me that sometimes it functions like a tree, and that you can't have them too close to each other or something, and you can't have it too close to the water. I think that snowball is as big as it can be.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Because unfortunately, then it happens is I get the 2 pieces switched around. It's like, I didn't mean to do that.
I'm catching that bug. Alright. Now, I shall get this snowball moving, and I'll do it while I have my net out, because it's the only time I can do something while my net is out, and I just kind of hold it without my hands. I like it. Okay, come here. Okay, we're pushing it. Don't worry, Pikanjo, you'll be on my island soon, and then we'll craft a bunch of stuff, and then we can talk about life.
Alright.
I gotta think if I know of any funny stories I haven't told yet. I'm sure there are plenty, I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Can't think of them, right? See, I finally got the love emote yesterday. That was the last one I needed. I got it from my snooty villager, Tiffany.
Yeah, Yeah, sometimes you just need a villager to teach you how to love. I understand.
All right. The thing is, I didn't realize I didn't have a snooty on my island for quite a while, and I had one or two, but they've long since gone.
Well,
I brought Tiffany over. She's a fan favorite from New Leaf. I really enjoyed having her, so now she's on my island in HD.
enjoy it. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Hopefully that snowball's in a perfect position. And now I'm gonna get this snowball. Hey, there's a dung beetle pushing this big one, and I caught it.
Oh, pushing the big one. Go get him.
You can see it because the snowball's perspective was blocking it. Oh.
Nice. So yeah, just
All right. Now I gotta roll this snowball along this dirt path. Ready? Here's hoping it's perfect, Pikanjo, because if it's not, it's gonna be really embarrassing. But this should be perfect. And what do you mean so close? What did I do wrong? I've used this exact dirt path for like the last 15 snow people, and that one didn't count. Why? What did I do?
what did I do?
Alright, I'm gonna go hit some rocks real quickly too.
I think it's a little too perfect having to get those, you know.
There's not much leeway. I'm even doing a trick to make sure that it's accurate. It's not counting it. What's that?
Right.
I was doing better when I was just randomly pushing my snowball in circles around a tree. I'm gonna go back to that. I'm gonna pop this balloon. I'm gonna bonk some rocks because I can only do these things while you're not here. And then it shall be time, Pikanjo. It shall be time for you to come over, and I will get the document stacks ready. Alright.
I was just checking here because I had one of my lazy villagers move out, Bo. I was just seeing who moved in. So I just let the game decide here. It says Stella.
Stella!
Who's Stella? Sounds like, if I were to guess, sounds like a sheep.
Maybe it's a street.
Sure, I can look it up here, but
no, that's named Desire. Never mind. I don't even remember that much about the play. I just remember that line. I've seen it. I just don't remember the one.
Oh, I remember more. I mean, I know a lot of it because of The Simpsons, but yeah, because streetcar named Marge or something.
Lionel Hudson's in that episode.
Yes, I still. I also play Mitch or something like that.
Oh, is it Troy
I don't know. I think my favorite Stella.
Is it Lionel Hutz? Now I don't remember. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Lionel Hutz. I'll be representing everyone who didn't get a part today. I also
Okay, that's correct.
I mean, same voice actor.
Yeah. That's why I wasn't sure. I'm like, oh, I could see either person saying it. Okay.
I think the best payoff of the, because you always go for Stella. I think is from Over the Hedge. I really enjoyed that.
I have not seen that movie in a long time, and I'm gonna be real with you. I don't remember like any lines from the movie except for it's the part where the squirrel is supposed to look like a rabbit squirrel, and he says, "Aren't rabbits supposed to be cute and soft?" And the porcupine goes, or not porcupine, the raccoon goes, "No, you're thinking of a rabbit. These are rabbits." It's not even like a funny line. That's just the only line I remember.
Like, is that right? I mean, I'm fairly familiar with it. But I'm trying to remember that line, and it's not hitting me.
Spray like face cream on his face, and he has to act like a rabbit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a scary. Yeah, trying to distract the kids, and unfortunately, I think he gets maced instead.
That's exactly what happens. All right.
Yeah, that line's like towards the end with the Stella payoff, anyways.
About that movie is that it has an all-star celebrity cast, and I feel like a lot of it is wasted potential, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I still find it to be a lot of fun, and it's something I kind of at first I'm just like, it's all right. It's like, it's not too bad. It's actually pretty decent.
A lot worse. It's by no means a bad movie, and I like if it's on, I'd watch it again.
No, right. Yeah. It's a fun romp. I don't think it's.
I've seen some stinkers. Some 3D.
Oh yes, we plenty.
Over the head.
But I remember, it's funny. I used to watch a lot of those movies with commentary on just to see what the people had to say about it.
Yeah, I didn't really own too many DVDs
And
that had, commentary from the directors. I have a couple VHSs, but I didn't really collect DVDs.
No, right. Well, switching DVDs is kind of standard. And You know, I wonder if streaming service. I never even tried to listen to a commentary on
I don't know
streaming
if those
service or not.
exist. I don't know if commentary
I,
versions
I
exist.
would have to say that maybe they do,
I mean, if they
but
do, awesome. But I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I can understand why
I'm
they
pretty
wouldn't be
sure if
there,
you
but
want
yeah.
commentary on something that you enjoy watching, you have to get the Blu-ray of it. That's like the added feature because at that point you're appealing to a collector. Streaming service, you're appealing to someone who hasn't seen something yet.
Okay. I really thought. I mean, I don't know. Since I got Disney Plus, it's like all I'm doing is watching Treasure Planet and Atlantis over and
Yeah,
over and over
I
again. So,
considered finally using that trial for Disney Plus because I wanted.
oh, we kind of share with the family here, so you know that's why we have it.
Because I wanted to watch WandaVision and I haven't seen Soul yet.
I haven't seen either. Yeah, WandaVision. I think that just
I think
happened
it just started
or
as
came
of,
out.
either
Yeah.
yesterday or today.
Oh. Yeah. One of the I don't know. I don't watch Mandalorian, and I haven't really watched any of the. I'm trying to think what other. I haven't watched. Was it Agents of Shield? I don't
So
really
I
watch that
follow
either.
MCU, but I'm not like a die-hard fan for it. I really like it. I really liked Avengers Endgame, and I think it's cool how they've done all that stuff. But I haven't, I don't really read comics. I just kind of like the story that's going on, and it seems like I have to watch WandaVision to understand any of the movies that are going to come out this year. So I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah, I don't. I'm curious what the premise is. Like, well, this sounds like this might be setting things up.
I mean, have you watched the other MCU movies?
Yes,
Oh, okay, great.
I have. I'd say I'm mostly a fan. I haven't seen all of them. Like I haven't seen most of the Thor movies. I think only Ragnarok
I did
is the
not
one
see
I've
Thor: The
seen.
Dark World, but I saw the first one and I saw Ragnarok.
I can't remember most of that one.
Ragnarok?
I watched some of it, but yeah.
Or the first one.
Oh no, the original Thor and the second Thor.
The
Yeah, I
main
haven't really
thing I remember
watched.
about the original Thor is the scene where he's in the coffee shop. He's like, "This is delicious," and then he smashes the
Yeah,
cup.
he enjoys it so much. Yeah, he's like, "This is great, more," and something
And it
like
kind of
that.
shows the charm of his character because they're like, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, "It was delicious. I want another." And they're like, "We don't do that here." And he just goes, "Okay."
Right. I mean, it's funny to think back. Just, 'cause, I mean, that's the really early days. You know, when they were still trying to start what I mean. They're about the only ones who have succeeded in starting a cinematic universe.
There are other
Because I think Universal has tried and failed a
there
couple
are other
times
movies
already.
that take place in the same universe as another film, but if we're talking like a full-on cinematic
Mm-hmm.
universe with multiple films with multiple directors, it's not easy. Even DC has tried it and it hasn't worked out. And Robert Downey Jr. has commented saying they want to do something similar with Sherlock Holmes, and we'll see.
Interesting because I have seen both of the ones he's played Sherlock.
And I thoroughly enjoyed those.
And those were a lot of fun, honestly.
My stupid
I
complaint.
just don't really see it being
My
cinematic
stupid
universe.
complaint with the Sherlock Holmes films, and this is not a knock at the film. This is a knock at me being an idiot. I thought Sherlock Holmes was less of an action film and more of like a Scooby-Doo type thing, but for adults. That's what I thought the film was going to be going into it. I wasn't aware that there was going to be so much action, so when I came out of it, I was like, yeah, that was like a full-on action sequence. I thought it was going to be that type of movie.
I mean, yeah, I kind of think of it more of a... Because I did enjoy the TV version, The Mentalist, with modern-day Sherlock Holmes, which I think was a really good adaptation. It was only supposed to go, I think, 6 seasons. They got renewed for one more. But the ending of the 6th season, I believe, the second one, the last one, had like one of the best endings to a series I've seen in quite some time. But then it got picked up for another season because it was just such a nice, heartfelt, and wonderful ending. Then they got another season. And while that season's ending is still pretty good, because as they wrote it, they figured it was ending, and then they got picked up again.
I give them a lot of credit then, and I haven't even seen it. It's very hard for a show.
That's probably the last TV show I watched. I haven't watched TV in 3 or 4 years
It's very hard for a show to have a solid ending. It can have a good ending, but if you're talking about one of the best endings you've ever seen, that's pretty.
Yeah.
That's a pretty great statement because there are plenty of shows that I watch where the last season's probably the best one, right? And it's super strong and everything's great and the ending's fine, but something about the ending doesn't hold up as well as all, like the 2 or 3 episodes that built up to it.
Yeah, I
I'll
wholeheartedly
give an
agree. There's a lot
example.
of that.
Have you seen Steven Universe? Okay. I
Yes.
love Steven Universe, and I think its 5th season is awesome, and the animation's great, and the storytelling's great, and the songs are great. But the actual ending, like the last episode, the last like 3 minutes, that last act, doesn't quite do it for me. Gates are open, by the way. I just opened them.
Oh, okay. I
Like
was
Steven
wondering.
Universe, it's clear that they had a lot of effort put into it, but that actual ending, I don't know. All those scenes right before it. I don't want to say too much without spoiling it, so I'll just say that scene where you see
All right.
Steven from different perspectives. You know what I'm talking about? It's like two different
I think so, yeah.
views. Like the screen is split down the middle, and it's like him seeing things from one eye, seeing things from another eye. I thought that was awesome, but then it goes like nowhere. And then they did Steven Universe Future, and it started off a little slow, but then it started picking up, and I really really liked it. But then the actual ending, I'm like, ugh, that's so mundane. I guess it's fitting for what the show is, but it feels really underwhelming. So that's an example.
I would agree on the underwhelming part, yeah.
Or something akin to, if we want to do something like more adult, I watched Breaking Bad. Great show. Starts off a little slow, but the seasons, I feel, get better and better. And when you get to that 5th and final season, it's like, shoot, man, I gotta watch every episode, and like, I gotta know what happens. This is getting crazy now. I don't even know where the show's gonna go. And the last episode, well, fine. I feel the ending is a little too safe. It compared to like the episodes that built up to it. All the other episodes, basically the main character's life falls apart. And so when you get to the ending, it's like, okay, like that's a fine way to end the show. But all things considered, it's a little too easy.
How much you went through.
It's not necessarily a happy ever after, but I guess.
Yeah, we don't know what kind of meddling happened, but yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say without spoiling too much. And so.
Okay. I actually watched a lot of Breaking Bad myself.
I had to watch the first season because I was editing for The Completionist, and he did an episode on Breaking Bad as an April Fool's joke. It worked out that it was a good show. I wasn't originally planning on watching more than the first season, but I did because I started watching 1 or 2 clips on YouTube, and I was like, all right, I may as well watch the whole show. I'm in quarantine, whatever, and I did, and I thought it was great. So, and then.
Well, like right now, I'm actually watching Avatar, so.
Yeah. The last episode is pretty solid.
I haven't. I haven't gotten there yet, but yeah. Chronologically, documenting my watch of it.
I'm very excited. When you get to, there's like 1 or 2 episodes that I'm eager to hear your opinion on, and more specifically, when you get to season 2,
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm still in the first season. Lots being set up, and I'm really curious how it's going to go.
Matter except like 1 episode, and they even make a joke about.
Everything's going to fall right. I'm sure there's probably going to be a stinker somewhere. So far, it's been pretty solid. Well, that's a lot of bear.
You'll know it, but Avatar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, first season. I guess I don't want to say too much if you're in the process of watching it.
Right, I'm still watching that.
You'll eventually start seeing what some of the more serious episodes are. And then when you get to season 2, you're gonna be like, oh, this is like you'll see that it's a cool show, but when you get to season 2, that's when you'll realize, oh, this is a great show. Like this is why it's one of the most critically acclaimed shows of all time. Just like me with Breaking Bad, I was like, this is cool, but I don't see why it's one of the most acclaimed shows of all time. Oh, now I see.
All right.
There you go. All right, so we got 2 workstations here, Pikanjo. I'm gonna take a picture. And I figure we're just gonna talk like we've been talking, but we're gonna craft stuff all day. I guess you can do whatever you want. You don't have to craft stuff. I just figured.
Well, I don't think I have the achievement, so I'll just go ahead and craft too.
Oh, you have to access it from the bottom.
Oh.
This way, you and I can be looking at each other.
Oh, okay. I didn't know which way we were doing this. Let's.
The way I'm gonna set this up is I'm gonna locate scattered papers in my crafting list, and then as soon as I have it highlighted, I'm gonna switch to organize by type. And that way, document stack and scattered papers will always be next to each other.
Right.
So I have to find scattered papers.
by? I found. You mean
Yeah,
in the
in
everything or somewhere else?
So I go to everything.
Okay.
I sort alphabetical. I find scattered papers, and then when I'm highlighted on it, I switch it to organize by series. Sorry, and then now I just have to hit left and right every time I want to craft it.
Oh, okay.
So, before I actually do this, let's see where I am at the start of today. I'm
I
at
should check that
903,
too.
so I'm gonna hit
Where is
1,000 today for sure. But I think the end goal is 2,000, and we're
Where?
gonna see if I can get to that.
Is that the DIY furniture? Or is
The
that?
other one is for crafting tools.
Oh, that's the tool. Okay. I'm only 820, so I haven't hit the fourth one yet. So I should be able to hit the 1,000 today.
Tools is trickier because I actually have to get supplies for that. Or I can just get enough iron nuggets and make it work. But okay, we're focusing on furniture today. This is the best way I could think of to cheese it. So let's get to 1,000, baby.
Yeah, I'm just.
Anyway, I'm happy that you're watching Avatar.
Yeah, at least they're next to each other. It does make it a lot
If you're
easier.
an animation enthusiast, I feel like in your lifetime you gotta watch Avatar. It's pretty great.
No, right. It's something. It's funny just to think about it now because I just think growing up I didn't have cable, and that's just something kind of before internet became as good as it is now. I never watched it because I didn't watch like any Nickelodeon shows because I didn't have that option.
Yeah, you have the luxury now of being able to watch the episodes on demand and not have to wait week to week for each new episode, and then an entire year and a half of the next season after a cliffhanger.
Oh gosh, yeah. Sometimes that would just take so long for any show to come out. It's like, oh yeah, we got fun for another season, but it has to be like 2 years before we get to it.
Like there is kind of fun to that because there's the whole point of speculation. Like I know The Simpsons intentionally set that up.
Right.
The one time they did a two-parter, Who Shot Mr. Burns. They intentionally made it.
No, right. That was they had to wait over the summer.
The first part of season finale, so people would have to wait and speculate. And I think that's smart, but you know, they had it my way.
Well, right, and there was like, their whole contest too, kind of like how they did the Butterfinger things.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, my brother and I, we spent a long time trying to figure out who did it. We basically figured out like who it couldn't be.
Right.
And it's funny how they kept bringing up, like, I think they had John Walsh from, like, America's Most Wanted guest star be like, oh, we're trying to figure it out ourselves. It's like...
On Twitter, because now the writers are, like, a little more open about the process of how to do things. They have, like, the original pitch for the episode. And they were saying things like, yeah, we need to have a guest character who might seem blatantly obvious, like he's the shooter. We need to intentionally make it a two-parter and have the second part start off as if everything's back to normal. And do a huge parody of whatever that show was.
By how, how it ended.
And then they said we need to have every character be a suspect. And that, you know, you basically see their pitch and you see, like, yeah, they basically did all of that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, then Lisa goes through the whole thing,
On top of that, it's also just a funny series of episodes. Some of my favorite jokes are from those episodes.
Yeah, I mean... I think the first 10 seasons are probably some of the best stuff. And of course now they're on like 30, and it's like
I tried giving some modern episodes a chance, and I will admit, you know, when they throw enough jokes at the wall, something's gonna make me laugh. But there's just something about the pacing, the way they actually tell the jokes now that I'm kind of like,
Yeah. How episodes are 2 minutes shorter than they used to be because of commercials.
They'll squash
and
credits.
It's basically a different show, and. I mean, unfortunately, that's inevitable. That's something my dad kind of theorized. Like, a series should only have about 6 seasons, because after that, it becomes old and stagnant and, you know, repetitive, and it's like, this is just not much fun to watch anymore.
A lot of Nickelodeon shows were only 3 seasons. And...
I remember hearing about how that was decided. It was just...
Of all people, Gerard the Completionist talked to me about this, and he was saying, that was just like what Nickelodeon decided was a good runtime. Like, 3 seasons was long enough, and now you guys are going to work on another show, and we're going to give something else a chance.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, it was very, I don't know, cookie cutter, just standard way of doing it. Like, well, it's only going to last this many seasons. It's kind of more of an obscure thing. But when they were the Andy Griffith Show, I don't know how many seasons that lasted, but it lasted like 2 more than I think most of them expected. And the actor Barney Fife is like absent for 1 or 2 of the last seasons, mostly because he thought the show wasn't going to make it that far, and so that's why he's not in there. He basically was pursuing other work because he thought, the show's going to be over, but no, it kept going.
That brings up a good point. that a lot of people who work on these shows, you know, when you've worked on a show for 6 seasons, you probably want to go and work on something else. You're like, you know, I've done my fair share of things, especially if it's a live action show like
Or
The
some
Office.
shows.
Some of those actors wanna move on and do something.
How long did that show go on for? Because I've never really
So it was
watched
9
the show.
seasons, and I know that because I just got done watching that with Charles, C. Bernardo, and animatronics. We would watch it together.
I mean, we had your own Office
we would
episode.
watch
Yeah.
a lot of it together, and that's why we did that Office episode here for my Animal Crossing series. But that was 9 seasons.
Yeah.
And going into the 9th season, I believe the actors said like, this should be the final season, so let's wrap stuff up. It becomes a little harder in a show that has a narrative across multiple episodes. It's easier for
Right.
something like SpongeBob, I guess, or at this point, The Simpsons. The Simpsons used to have a fair share of continuity.
Right, that's kind of really. I was thinking about that today actually, because it's like I remember when I'm because I was pretty much an expert on the first 10 seasons, and I guess I would say I am too. But they had to like age up the characters sometimes, or just change when they went to high school and stuff because it's now the year 2021 instead of 1996. So a lot has changed.
But the thing is, so although the show Rugrats went on for more than 3 seasons. The show that really changed things was SpongeBob, and that's when Nickelodeon would start saying, okay, if your show isn't good after the first season, it's canceled, and if it is, it's going to go on for like 10 seasons. A la Fairly Odd Parents, I guess now The Loud House. I haven't really watched The Loud House, though. It's just stuff like that.
I've seen very little. I have enjoyed what I've seen.
I hear it's good. That's probably
fun.
why it's going on for so many seasons. But I can't imagine... It's weird. So your show goes on for 3 seasons, so you probably work on the show for 3 years, maybe a 4th year because the first year is spent just developing the show. And then you're told, all right, now you gotta go work on something else. But now you have the opposite problem where you're working on The Simpsons and then you're stuck working on it for 20 plus years. And I know a lot of the original writers don't work on it anymore, but still, I can't imagine working on... I don't know what's better. Like having a surefire thing.
Nice to have the kind of job security, but
But then you're never able to pitch anything because Simpsons is going to be racking all the views and anything new is sure to fail.
Yeah, and just, especially how I'm just thinking about how much the show has changed. It was back to when it was, hand-drawn animation. Now it's digital, and it's done well enough that I can't always tell it's digital because it's so smooth.
It actually looks pretty great. Like the animators have more or less perfected their craft given the guidelines that they have to follow. They got to make that show quick. They get it out every year.
Well, yeah, how long it would take them to make it? This is back, I think, when it started. It took like 6 months to make an episode, and so you got several going at a time, and they're going for about that 24, which is interesting to think that was a season length. That's still probably a standard season length, but the way streaming is, it's probably less. It seems like 8
on
to
streaming services it's different.
I don't even know. 20 seems to be kind of an odd number. But that seems rather standard, especially when you're starting out.
That it was about 25 to 26 episodes for an average season of a television show, because they would air the season, and then they would re-air the season, and that would make up a year. And then you start the next season.
That probably makes sense.
Nowadays, you're right. A lot of shows are doing less than that. They're doing like 10 episodes. Like a season of Rick and Morty is like 10 episodes.
Yeah, 10 seems to be especially just.
And obviously that's a lot easier, especially in a show with a continuing narrative.
It's also just weird to be able to have the entire season ready to watch, because I'm so used to being like, they milk it. They go the whole season, the whole year.
Some shows are splitting that up now. It's like the first half of the season's available now, and the second half will be available in 2 months.
I like what show's doing that.
Did that.
Oh, that's another show I need to watch. I haven't
like
gotten
that
there
show.
yet.
It's you might hear it's dark, and not just dark as in like the humor is dark, but as in like some episodes, it doesn't focus on the humor and instead just focuses on the character. But I have not finished watching it, but I have enjoyed what I watched, and it's another show where it takes a few episodes to get going. But I feel like that's any good show.
That's what you hear about the first season. It takes a while to get to enjoying it, but then when they're not bad.
Word of mouth a lot of credit, because a lot of shows I would give up on after 2 or 3 episodes if they didn't have such strong praise. If like, all right, because at that point I have to start saying, okay, this is probably another one of those shows. It takes a while to get started, but but it's just introducing the characters in the world, and once it gets the ball rolling, it rolls. It becomes fantastic. So.
It's a show I haven't watched, and I need to because and that's the DuckTales 2017 version, which was recently canceled. Like they only got 3 seasons out of it.
I saw clips. I haven't
and
watched it either.
I saw this. Well, I think the 2-part pilot is available on YouTube. That's kind of why I've probably seen that one a few times. Whereas now that Disney Plus is around, I should probably get into that. And because I know I enjoyed watching the original show, and I'm curious to see how they've done with a lot of the new stuff here. Because it seems a bit more they're incorporating the comics, which is what, like, a big part of the comics was Donald Duck, and apparently he has a much larger presence. He's really not just in for like the pilot, like the original series. He's really integrated into the show.
It's not called the Huey, Dewey, Louie show.
Well, I mean, it would involve Scrooge and the nephews. That's like the big part of the original, and then every once in a while you have other stories or whatever. Yeah. They were very. I remember my parents saying, like, it was a pretty good cartoon for the time. They didn't really expect that. But
I mean, that's something that always makes me happy.
And now,
parents, or people in my family who are a little more disconnected to me will say things like, "That was pretty good." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like animation can appeal to kids and adults."
No, right? It's not. It's kind of like when I started watching some of the Generation 4 of MLP, because I just remember I had nothing to do when I was in a hotel room, and I'm like, well, let's see what's on. I'm like, oh, this is on. And I watched a couple episodes. It's like, this is great. It's not cringe. I just think back to the 80s. Like, God, I never watched that. It did not get with me at all.
I get it. A lot of animation is catered toward children because children like the bright, flashy stuff. But it makes me so happy that like parents can watch a Pixar movie and be like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, it's like adults work on this.
Yeah, whoa.
That's really why I want to see Soul.
I mean, and take the chances, like like how Wally's first half is basically no dialogue, but we set up the entire world, and you still get a lot of emotion on it. Kind of the same way, I guess, like the first 10 minutes of Up is like that too.
So like there's talking in like the first minute or so, but you're talking about
right.
that,
I mean, there's a lot.
Where you see their entire life without any dialogue, and yet that's like 5.
Yeah, it's done very well. Yeah, I want to say. I don't know. I can't name most of them who directs what. I can name a few of them, like Andrew Stanton did Wall-E, and that's just because I remember watching that one over and over and over again, and especially I even have commentary on that too, just to hear what they had to say.
And he also did Soul, which is why I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah, Soul. I need to watch that too now.
Monsters Inc., which totally is like completely different than Up or Soul, and yet Monsters Inc. is also one of my favorite Pixar movies, only behind Toy Story and The Incredibles. So.
Right? Yeah, because I do follow the escapades of. Oh no, I'm blanking his name. He directed Iron Giant as well.
Brad Bird.
Brad. Oh God, he also wrote for The Simpsons at one point. Funnily enough, I remember listening to some commentary on The Simpsons, like where is he these days? Like, that's when he's making Iron Giant. Like, oh, he's making good cartoons. They say.
It's interesting you bring that up. The Simpsons is kind of like allowed to make fun of Disney. I mean, they especially are now because they're owned by Disney. But back in the day, a lot of people, a lot of people who worked on The Simpsons like went back and forth between Pixar and The Simpsons. And beyond that, before Pixar, the film that a lot of those writers worked on was The Brave Little Toaster. So.
That one I need to watch again because I think I might understand that more as an adult, even though I'm pretty sure I understand and know what's going on.
But I appreciate it more as an adult.
Yeah. Then I had 2 sequels, which I don't know if I'm ever actually going to watch those, but
Either. And from what I've heard, the sequels as movies are okay, but they kind of take the point of what The Brave Little Toaster was supposed to be. It's like The Brave Little Toaster is not your daily animated sitcom about a toaster that goes on wacky adventures. It was a story about like abandonment and wanting to feel wanted and
I remember being really sad watching some of that. It was like, this is depressing.
You're telling me he's gonna go to Mars.
then you're scared the second half.
So I just think it's cool that a fair share of these writers have gone on to do plenty of cool other things.
Yeah. to be able to try out new different things that probably would be considered crazy.
I know a
back
lot of the
then.
people who worked on SpongeBob went to go work on a few different things. Like C.H. Greenblatt was a storyboard artist and writer for some of my favorite episodes of SpongeBob, and he went on to create Chowder, which I thought was funny.
God, I've only seen clips of Chowder.
Yeah, I agree that there are some like weird episodes, but
And unfortunately, I confused that show with like Billy and Mandy.
He worked on that
just
too.
because I don't know. I don't think the style is actually similar, but for some reason I get those two confused. And the only thing I know of Billy and Mandy, besides a couple of jokes, is the what's the name of the Raven?
I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. It's like, we're going.
You know, the natural order. Yeah, he just always screaming.
Always watching.
You met with the natural order.
Yeah. Billy and Mandy I think is funny, but that's another episode where like the good episodes are great, but the bad episodes are like, this is just boring.
They're just
But yeah, C.H. Greenblatt actually worked on that show too. He voiced Fredberger. Fredberger?
He voiced who? Yeah, say I
sure.
sure.
He became like the mascot of Cartoon Network for a time. He's just like this yellow. This yellow
that's
character
right.
with like an elephant nose. Anyway, and then I guess the guy.
See, yeah, Cartoon Network is another cool thing I didn't have, but yeah, you know.
Ferb, I guess, worked on SpongeBob as well. I only learned this like last week because Emmatronics.
I should know his name. I think I follow him on Twitter.
That's
Guy who
him,
plays
yeah.
Doofenshmirtz. But I'm not the entirety of that show. I remember, God, the first couple episodes I had seen, I was like, this is really good. I think it was like the car wash episode. I was just like, I love this song. And I was like, I gotta look up this song. And not realizing this is standard for the show.
I saw a comment on Twitter where someone said Phineas and Ferb could have legacy levels as big as SpongeBob, but the difference is that the show knew when to end. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Every episode of banger. Like, I get it.
It's sometimes I don't mind when a show keeps going because like if it can still tell a good story and it had potential, sure, but yeah, it goes back to like the season kind of theory.
I think that's when that show ended with 6 seasons in. I think you're right. 6 seasons and like 3 movies.
Yeah.
Although I think they just did another movie.
Then there's Futurama, which got canceled like 3 times.
Actually wound up ending on its 6th season, right? 5th or 6th.
That's probably correct, but I actually don't think I've seen that final season because it was like still going at the time. Like, oh, I guess it's over again. And that's a show I really wanted to succeed, and they got like through 3 or 4 seasons before its first cancellation.
Was a show I watched when I was younger, and I saw only 1 episode, and I wasn't really won over by it. I thought it was a little boring.
It probably wasn't. It's probably their best episode.
Older, and I've seen some of like the award-winning episodes and the talk about episodes. Have you seen the show much? Okay.
Oh yes, of course. And then what was great after it, first cancellation, they got like 4 full-length movies, to go with it, which I think are fairly good. Especially the first one's like, wow, this is good. I love this.
Eventually, the episode that won me over, that made me realize, oh, this is not just a good show, but a great show, is the one where the main guy. Fry, thank you.
Fry.
I know names. I'm just blanking on stuff because I'm mashing this A button. He tries to get his Lucky Clover back. He had a.
Oh yeah, that's like an award winning.
Because oftentimes I'll see which episodes of a popular show get awards, and I'll be like, all right, let me watch this to see why the show got an award. And I saw that one, and I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. I get it now. I think, yeah.
Or at the very least, I saw a lot of people talk about that episode specifically.
But I haven't watched Disenchanted yet.
I haven't seen that either.
I don't know.
On that one.
Right. A lot of the same people and voice actors seem to be there too.
That makes sense.
So I'm curious. It seems. I was just curious to see what they would do because much like with the Simpsons movie, like they get away with some more humor they couldn't quite get away with on TV.
The scene where Bart is actually naked in the movie.
Oh, yes. I'm just thinking of the end where Marge, somebody throw the ball. And it's just like, oh, wow. I mean, it's funny. And, probably one of the most famous lines of, anti-Disney in that movie, too. I am the mascot of an evil corporation.
That's right. Oh, that is where that comes from, isn't it?
That is from the movie, the
Oh, you're
2000.
absolutely right. Yeah, Bart has
What's
like a
so
bra on
interesting
his
about
head.
that is,
He's like, look, Mom, I'm the mascot of an evil
yeah,
corporation.
I guess who I am, it does that.
Uh,
It's really weird because at the time when the movie came out, I kind of started like, yeah, it's not as good as it used to be, and I was really worried the movie was
oh,
going to be awful. But no, movie is superb, fits right in with everything, and it's quite enjoyable.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't really watching The Simpsons regularly because I was only in 6th or 7th grade at that time. Uh, but I was
Well,
very
right.
fortunate.
I
Like
mean,
that came out at just the right time for me. I believe I've told this story on this series before as well. I had an English teacher named Mr.
oh,
McCabe who really, really was a fan of the same stuff we are now. He was a fan of Pixar movies, The Simpsons, Monty Python. He was into all that stuff, and he introduced me to a lot of that. Not necessarily Pixar, but just like appreciating Pixar, appreciating The Simpsons.
yeah. Creation these other things that are probably glossed
He was
over.
really excited for the Simpsons movie, and in addition to him being my English teacher, I also took journalism that year, and he was also the journalism teacher, so I had him twice. And in journalism, we had a day where the director of the Simpsons movie, I believe his name was John Silverman, if he didn't direct it, then he was like lead writer or something. He came in, and he answered all of our questions. Each student in the class got to ask a question, and we turned that into a newspaper article, basically. And then he drew characters of The Simpsons on the teacher's whiteboard.
I do hear you talk about drawing them.
Lisa,
Yeah.
Sideshow Bob. I think Margin's on there, and there's like 2 more. And my teacher, I gotta reach out to him one day. He has pictures of it. Because he was determined to never erase them, but then he had to on the last day of the year because the custodial staff was gonna come in.
Right. I mean, I assume there were pictures taken at some point.
I don't know if he's still teaching, because no offense to him, he was a little older when I had him. And, 6th grade, or 6th or 7th grade, we're talking that was 2007, 2008. So we're talking 13 years ago now.
I know. Now that you've realized how many years ago that was, you're like, oh my.
I don't know if he's still teaching, so I don't know if I can find like his teacher's email address. And I don't want anyone else to look it up either. Like, don't bother him. But I can probably find him. So.
It'd be interesting to see. Yeah, I would love to see if you ever come across it. Put that up on Twitter or something. I give him
a lot of credit for like making me appreciate the stuff that I do now. But yeah, in addition to all of that, though, or the Simpsons rather. I saw the movie, wasn't a big Simpsons fan, but because of him, I was more compelled to see it, and I saw it with my mom, and we thought it was hilarious. I didn't really know all the characters and didn't really get to appreciate all the background jokes, but all the main jokes I thought were really, really free.
Oh yeah.
So. Yeah, they did a very good job. And I now appreciate the way that they promote the movie and how the trailers for the movie tell you nothing. They tell you nothing about the plot. It's built up to be this huge dramatic thing, but they spoil nothing.
There's ugly in 2D.
And I appreciate it. I just appreciate it. I'm going in circles.
It's kind of weird when it came out because it was kind of past, I would say, the peak of Simpsons, even though they're still going. And I remember at the time people were saying like, well, clearly the show is going to end. I'm like, why do you say that? And it's like, oh, when a movie's made, that means the show's going to end. And I'm like, well, the example I thought of was South Park. They had a movie.
Yeah,
they're still
going. Was supposed to end that way, but they're still going. I understand the mindset.
Yeah,
you want to end it with the big, hour-and-a-half special. But
yeah, big. It sounds like how they tried to Hey Arnold, but then that kind of got debacled.
Ended that way now. Because now they actually did the Jungle movie.
Well, right.
And I guess
I have not seen that, but I don't know if how that was received.
I liked it. I'm pretty sure the general consensus was that it was good. In a similar vein, some movies leave the door open, like the Invader Zim movie. Could easily serve as the.
I never watched that show.
It can serve as the show's finale, but it leaves the door open in case they ever want to do more.
Well, right. I mean, they probably always like having that door open. Especially now, because they come back and try and have a proper ending, like Rocko's Modern Life got its own little thing on Netflix, too.
It's hard to, get a show that can do that now. because
Well, let's just reboot it and do it again.
But I remember reading that a lot of television networks don't want people to pitch narratively driven shows. They want you to pitch shows like SpongeBob, where any episode could be aired at any time. You don't have to like follow a plot.
I can understand that, especially because it's probably just.
Because I guess.
I probably brought up this story before too, but like back when I was, I watched Kids WB and Fox Kids, and they had the X-Men cartoon, the original one that it was apparently very expensive and did not expect to succeed, but it did. I didn't really watch it because it's much like a soap. It is like, I don't have time. I don't know what's going on,
Right.
and so I didn't. And I'm kind of watching some of that on Disney Plus, which is fun. It's just funny how this stuff is now there to watch. And
it's one thing if a show has continuity.
It did have it previously, but it's like, wow, there's just, it's like a soap. Like, man, I don't know what's going on. There's always stuff happening.
People want to pitch.
But
people
every
want to pitch
like
the next Avatar, and I think that happens a lot. Like people have this great idea for a television show plot, but cartoon stations, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, they're like, we can't really keep doing that. Now it's worked several times, right? Like Avatar, it worked. Gravity Falls, it worked.
Yeah, I think DuckTales is doing that same thing.
Some shows have to like sneak by that. Like I guess that's what Steven Universe did. It starts off as a relatively mundane show, and then the plot comes in.
Well, they probably, like a lot of when they start the show, they don't know if the show's going to get that far, so they don't try to just front load it. They try to, just see how far they get, just telling, individual stories and some connectivity, and then if they get far enough, like, well, let's do the big hierarchy thing story we wanted to do.
So, I get it. A lot of people want to tell stories like that, but that's not what networks are looking for. And it's kind of a shame, but, I wonder if that's going to change with streaming services. I don't, like, besides Animaniacs.
They mentioned so many new shows.
Besides Animaniacs, I don't know how many shows are going to be successful with just having random episodes. I think people want to watch an ongoing plot now.
I haven't watched Animaniacs yet. I'm semi-conflicted on watching it myself. Because at the time...
I didn't really watch...
It was 50-50 with the show for me, because I'm clearly missing references, because I don't know what's going on.
I didn't really watch the original show, just so you know. And I watched the 2020 version, and I enjoyed it.
It's probably done very well. I guess what was the weirdest thing is Tom Rucker, the guy who created it, wasn't brought on when they made the remake.
A red flag, but I think it worked out here.
Yeah, but as he said, he wants the show to be successful. He just, kind of like how they did Powerpuff Girls. They did not go.
Craig McCracken was right there. He's like, I'm right here.
Everyone was complaining about it. It's like, I'm sorry, guys, it's not mine. I have nothing to do with the show now. And it's like, it's just so heartbreaking to hear.
Get it.
And considering what I've heard about the new reboot of that show, it's like
but on the flip side, you might have heard this comparison a lot. When they brought Samurai Jack back, and it was a continued show, the original creator was on board, and I think season 5. The first 3 episodes are some of the best animated television I've ever seen. Particularly the 3rd episode, I think is fantastic.
It's funny because I just actually marathoned the entire show before, first 4 seasons before that happened, just so I could understand what was happening. That was, again, another one of those shows I never watched, always heard great things about. It's really weird because I think I watched probably the worst episode back in the day when Kids Baby was still around, because for some weird thing they were doing, because they're both Warner Brothers. But talking about Samurai Jack. There was an episode I saw, which I want to say it's like the 3rd or 4th episode. I don't know exactly what's going on. It's these woolly mammoth kind of creatures are being subjugated.
I don't remember the first season that
one. And I remember watching that one. It's like. And because I also didn't know how Samurai Jack worked, just because of how the stylization, I guess, to call it. And I think some people said, like, sometimes the episode doesn't become great until the end, because, kind of like a big build-up, how it always goes. And I think I watched probably the worst one, so I was basically turned off to the show because I didn't watch it. Which is weird. In a similar vein, I think I saw like my favorite Powerpuff Girls episode when they did like it's weird. They're doing this cross-platform thing. They like for like a month or two, they would show episode, stuff from Cartoon Network on Kids WB. It was such a narrow time, and it's weird that I even know some of it. But I watched an episode of Powerpuff Girls, and it was like centered around Mojo Jojo, where he is like trying to have a normal breakfast start of his day, but he's out of eggs, so he's got to go get eggs. Curses, and I was really enjoying it. It's like, this is funny, and it's funny because it doesn't have too much to do with the Powerpuff Girls. It was more centered around him, and I thought that was just such a fun episode.
Their background characters. If a show is good enough, it can have an episode focus on a secondary character.
Yeah.
Think of like the novelty of certain shows like SpongeBob or Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yeah, I've seen very little Foster's. It's kind of mixed when what I've seen. Some of it I kind of really enjoyed. Yeah.
Episodes are very good, but the bad episodes like make you hate the characters. As an overall show, I like it a lot. I remember a lot of people have complaints with the main character of Blue, and I totally get it. He's like a little too mean at times. Other times it's justified, but there are a lot of that's uncalled for. That's not cool.
I remember somebody bringing it up in college, like they have their kids, and it's like, I can't let my kids watch this show because Blue does stuff I don't want him to do, and they mimic him, and it's like, uh-oh. From what I've seen, he's a big troublemaker.
He like whines and complains and always tries to get his way, and yeah, he's a troublemaker. He does get his comeuppance at the end of the episodes, but like, it's not
right.
I get it. What sells that show for me is actually its background cast. I like Wilt and Coco and Eduardo. I think they're very fun characters. I like Madame Foster herself. She's pretty fun. Even Mr. Harriman gets some laughs out of time.
I'm trying to think. I've seen very few. One was just about Blue not following like the rules of proper etiquette, and Harriman's always correcting him, but everybody else is doing it, so it's like, it's not that hard. And so he basically does nothing. Yeah. But
like some episodes that make that show great, if you wanted like a good episode that focuses on Blue, there's an episode where Blue gets the house to himself because everyone else goes to the beach without telling him, and the episode is spent with him just trying to figure out what he can do while everyone's away.
It sounded like an episode of Lazy Town when he said
that's like a brilliant episode because it takes advantage of its characters in a scenario that's perfect for them.
Yeah, just to see what it's like to be him. That'd be interesting. He's probably like enjoying it. He's rocking out, and by the end,
it's actually reverse. He starts out by relaxing, and then Max shows up, and Max like, do you not realize this opportunity you have? You can do whatever you want.
Oh.
And then Blue and Max just like start going crazy, and that's what makes it funny. Alternatively, there's an episode later on in the series where Mac and Blue keep daring each other to do stuff to other people in the household, and Madame Foster basically finds out, and Madame Foster says, you know what this means? We need to have an official dare competition! And it has like pretty much any secondary character that's ever appeared in the show has an appearance in this episode. That might be why I like it so much. And it's just Blue and Mac like trying to outdare everyone in the house, and it's kind of fun. So some episodes work really well, but then there are others where I'm like, wow, that like was a waste of my time. The most famous one is probably the one that introduced Cheese as a character, and I do like that episode. Yeah, there's a yellow character named Cheese who's
okay.
I don't know. Okay, I guess the only way I can describe him is like he comes off as the annoying idiot character, but he's not really trying to be annoying. He just doesn't really understand the world around him. So he kind of just walks in and is like, I like chocolate milk, and says like random stuff. But the episode's funny because Mac thinks that he imagined him, that he created him, so he tries to take care of him, and Blue has to take care of him as a brother.
Tries to unimagine.
Basically, Mac and Blue try to go about doing their day, but they have to involve Cheese and everything, and Cheese basically just ruins everything. And it's funny though. I actually think it's very funny. And Cheese became a very popular character in the show that I think started to overstay his welcome after that point. But that first episode that debuted him, I think is rightfully funny. And they do like some wordplay jokes too, because Blue says, well, Mac, if you're Mac and that's Cheese, then together you're Mac and Cheese. And then Mac leaves
Oh,
for the day, and Cheese goes
okay.
up to Blue and goes, "Brother, you know what we are? Together we're Blue Cheese." And then there's like a
Okay.
portion later that like it's so random and stupid that it makes me laugh. Where Blue is imagining his life in the future and how much he hates cheese. And there's like a hallucination Blue has where he's a celebrity and paparazzi's around him, they're taking pictures. And Cheese just shows up and he goes, "I'm a lady. And now we're brother lady!" And like Blue just sits there with like this horrified look on his face. And that scene just killed me because it's so out of nowhere. But it's also building off of a previous joke. Anyway, I spent so long talking about this character. That show is
Talking about
fun.
that one.
I like it because of its background characters and setup. But it's another show that ended after like 5 or 6 seasons.
Right. I mean, 3 is probably rather standard for cartoons. If they can make it through that first season. And yeah, I'm sure there's always a budget issue. It's like if it's not that successful, or if it's just. Sometimes I wonder about how a show can really be different after it gets picked up another season. I'm just thinking of some older stuff that's like, I don't know how this thing got another season.
Yeah,
you know?
I think, well, a lot of shows I think struggle after the second season. Usually the first season's like a pitching season, and I get that. And
Yeah.
then after that,
It's like we got it. Like, well,
but
I
then
don't
if a
know
show
what we're
doesn't do
doing
well in
now.
the second season, that's when a network pulls the plug. Like Sonic Boom had that issue.
Yeah.
Sonic Boom.
Which one?
Because the second season,
Oh,
got
is that-
moved over to Boomerang.
Was that where it got put?
Yeah.
So basically, I've seen a lot of that show, and it was just basically from online, and I don't know. I thought it's a pretty fun. To me, it's pretty
great
fun.
Show. It's just, not enough people were watching it because Cartoon Network was airing it at like 6 in the morning on a network that not everyone had.
Yeah, John was there, but I'm not getting up at that time. I'm gonna DVR that thing.
So, I get it. I totally get it.
I mean, yeah, I do remember being able to get up before 6. Like, all right, cartoon. And God, kids are so spoiled now. Cartoons
I know.
on demand.
You don't
On
have to worry about
tap.
Nick at Night coming on. You can watch it at any hour of every day.
I'd have to. I was like, okay, what cartoons are on in the afternoon? Oh, this is all I get. All right then. Kind of. You didn't have You didn't have streaming services.
Disney Plus.
Oh.
Watch cartoons.
I was trying to think like what could replace DVDs. Oh, that'll do it.
Just completely digital. You don't even have to put a disc in anymore.
You don't even. At least I have access to a lot of old stuff I never watched. Like, well, now I can watch this because there's other limitations from back then I couldn't do. So, especially when I blame a lot of shows I didn't watch because I swear sometimes it might just been maybe the local station airing, but I swear they only aired like the same 6 episodes. It's like there's got to be more.
That's the hard time when a show first starts out is they don't have enough to like keep a compelling.
Or it's not for
air the same like 3 or 4 episodes.
Just what's able to air could not, whenever it gets syndication. To be, then it's just like pops up at all these channels, like.
I remember that was the issue with. I want to say this was the issue with like My Life as a Teenage Robot. They aired like the same 5 or 6 episodes over and over and over again until finally they just aired some more. And it was just.
Yeah, it's funny that. Especially now, because there's all these YouTube things that talk about some cartoons, like why things were delayed or why you never saw this, and it's just, a lot more meddling was going on than I had any idea.
Yeah.
Like I think it's how the Korra series, I think, is a spin-off of Avatar, which I've not seen because I'm still watching Avatar. But based on what I'm hearing, I don't know if I want to watch it.
Long story short, it was only supposed to be 1 season. And, they wrote a plot that could be resolved in 1 season. And they got 4. And they kept
they got 4. Oh, wow.
How many seasons they could have or something. I think it was supposed to be 3, and then they argued for a 4th. But like, if you're gonna do this to us, we can't keep telling 1 season stories. We want to have a longer narrative, something like that.
That's why I guess I'm really enjoying with Avatar, because I know it's a 4-season thing. Like, well, they're setting up a lot of stuff, and I'm really interested. Like, it really hit me when I was watching I don't know which episode that was, but it's like it explained why the Fire Nation tag was from a comet, and I'm like,
Oh,
that's
you're
nuts.
about to get into some fun stuff.
And I saw that, and I'm like, that's crazy. I thought it's like, we're just gonna attack. No, it used that big elemental force. I was like, that's crazy. So I was just kind of blown away by that. Especially this early on, I don't know. It seemed like a big thing.
Now you're getting into the good stuff. So you're still gonna have one or two missed episodes. I'm sorry to say, but be prepared for
those
a
are
few more
like
serious episodes.
Well, I mean, they seem to be getting incrementally more serious, even though there's a lot of lightheartedness going on.
Cartoon and the show will remember that, but when it used to do serious elements, Avatar is known for doing its serious stuff pretty darn well, and still being able to explain stuff to kids.
Right.
Like, I don't think it's a spoiler to say this. You're gonna see how Zuko got a scar. They're gonna talk about that.
Well, that's why. Is that what that? I don't even know what was going on with his face there.
That's coming up. You're gonna see how he got his scar, and it's told very well for a kid's cartoon.
Okay. I guess it is a scar. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't gonna point it out.
I don't think it's a spoiler to talk about that because like you're gonna learn that like that's a defining characteristic of him. Like why he got that scar pretty much makes him who he is.
I guess you're right. It was a scar. I'm trying to think. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah.
No worries. And you'll come to appreciate all sorts of like secondary characters.
No worry, I'm sure I will. It's just. It's so interesting how it started just because you're with these waterbenders, I guess. Are they? Were they at the South Pole? Because they're trying to get to the North Pole now. It's like, when are they going to get to the North Pole? Is what I'm kind of thinking.
When I watched Avatar, I thought that's all the show would be about. Like, it's just them going to the North Pole. Kind of like Samurai Jack. Like, the show ends when Samurai Jack finds a portal to the past. Avatar ends when they go to the North Pole.
Right.
But they will.
He never.
And I remember, because it's only like. It's only like 18 or 19 episodes in when we get to it. And I remember watching Nickelodeon promos and it's like, next time on Avatar, Aang and the gang make it to the North Pole. And I'm like, what? Show's over already?
What?
Yeah.
Big spoiler. Tell you what I watched in the first Lord of the Rings movie. It's like, man, when are they going to get to that mountain? Oh, wait, this is a 3-part thing.
We've got about 5 to 6 minutes left. Just so you know. So if there's anything else you want to do on the island, now would be the time.
Well, I guess I go take a quick look at your shops and all. All right, see where I am here.
Do the same thing.
Let's see here. How did I do with all that? I made 1,092. I still got a long way to 3.
Okay, hang on. Let me do 2 more.
At least I broke the 1,000 mark here.
Let me make it back into a document stack and then I'll come join you.
Oh, what do I have here? I don't know what I left it on.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's either one or the other.
Scattered papers.
I like having.
No, it's just scattered paper.
Right,
yeah,
you're
right.
I got to.
It's just.
I definitely got to at least 1,000 because I checked it off when I crossed it. But I'm at 1161 out of 3,000.
116. Yeah, it's like that's 3,000's a lot. It's just like KK concerts. Like that's more than there are songs. How are we supposed to do that?
I'll meet you at the shop. While you're here, I'm gonna bonk some trees on my island because that's one of my daily Nook Miles achievements is to bonk trees. And I can do that without fear of wasps.
Oh, it's realized it's after 7. I wonder if Celeste is here. It's kind of cloudy, but you know.
Celeste. I guess
as I'm now looking.
We have to both be inside at the same time in order for her to load in the first place, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, let me just. I'll run to the shop here.
I'll meet you at the shop. Give me just a moment to knock out this achievement.
No problem. Let's see what we got here. Sometimes I always expect a balloon to pop up. It's like, no, it doesn't happen in multiplayer.
And I think I gotta do another day of me crafting this same item over and over to knock out this achievement. But I got at least 100. I did it.
Yeah, I think I did about 300. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I did like 200. If I'm at 1161 and I started at what 907, then I did 250 or so. That's pretty good. 254. Whew.
Whew, yeah.
Oh, I gotta bonk one more tree. Let me do that. Well, thanks for chatting about cartoons. Sorry we went all over the place.
It's fun to talk.
I'm glad we had a topic to talk about. It didn't just have to be like, so what did you do today?
So, just to bring up something we talked more at the beginning was like commentary tracks. in the Over the Hedge one, they talked about there's a scene in the movie where there's this part where this dog in the doghouse is going to come up, and something I think the writer directors were talking about is like, there's this, it's just, they know it's a kids movie, but they didn't want to make the dog scary because kids, there's always like a scary dog in one of these movies. So dog is just very playful. He's just always like play.
That's right.
So it was just a nice, way to go with that. This is something I remember them talking about how they came to that decision.
Alright, hang on. I'm stopping by resident services so I can use the Nook Miles machine before I forget. And then I got
good idea. One of them like
make a hot item and sell it for a fortune so I can knock out another Nook Miles achievement and craft one extra piece of furniture.
a colorful wheel. I don't have this one. It's got numbers on it, and instead of fruit or death.
That's right.
I don't think I have this. I don't think I have this blue and white celebratory candles. Give me.
Oh.
That's great. You get that in the catalog. I got an Apple cardboard box here.
You can have that too. I already got one of those.
I think I have all the fruits.
Where's music stand?
That's another thing. One was like, I remember listening to commentary on like Wall-E and how Andrew Stanton. Everyone kept saying like the animators talking about like he doesn't have a lot of joints or appendages to be able to do things. So it's like, well, can we give him this so we can do that? And he said no. He has to have his limits, though. You can still get around it, though. Just that way, it was part of the fun of how he would interact with everything.
I see. That I guess that makes sense. You also want to still make sure that he's a robot, so you don't want to give him too much movement.
Yeah. No, yeah, because if he had to reach something or he couldn't. It was just fun to try and play around with this little miniature like Johnny Five kind of character. Because I think Johnny Five probably had a lot more he could do. Although not to say Wall-E doesn't have his strong points.
Alright, I'm gonna talk to... I gotta talk to one more neighbor that isn't Pietro or Tybalt. And then I will knock out that Nook Miles achievement and then we'll be done for the day, Pikanjo.
Oh, okay. Now, who are we gonna find?
Hopefully Celeste.
Oh,
Pietro.
somebody... Oh, that's Pietro. It looked like a Santa hat when I read.
Where is he?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, Charlize is home.
Oh, Charlize.
Maybe she's
Sure.
the one crafting something. I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, Charlize. I'm here now. She is the one crafting something. Well, come on in.
Oh, she is crafting. Oh, sweet.
Sweet, this is really coming along. What
Come in.
What am I doing? I'm making a key holder. I don't know that one. Oh, I do know how to make a key holder. Well,
that was like, I remember that being like a really early one. I think my Eagle Pierce had one in his house, or still does. Look at all the fish in his house.
Sorry. Well, yeah, I guess normally she's supposed to have a house with a race car track as the flooring, and then because she was one of my first villagers, she doesn't have that, and I kind of just gave her hodgepodge items until she finally gave me her photo.
I was wondering, yeah, she was one of my first two. She has since left, but it would be nice to see what the house looks like if they can.
I've just given her a hodgepodge.
I just see what they do this next year. Maybe they added some events that we had in New Leaf that we'll have now, like New Year's, like April Fool's Day.
That sounds so fun. I'm gonna meet you at the front of the island, by the way.
Oh, okay. It's like, where'd he go?
I did some Nook Miles achievements.
I'm done. Yeah, April Fool's is a lot of fun. You have Blanca show up, pretending to be other villagers, and
Sounds fun.
it was actually also a chance to get all their pictures. So it'd be like, that'd be fun.
Oh, I see.
Because if you guess correctly, you got their photo, so like guaranteed.
Well, Pikanjo, thank you for joining me. I know it was not the most engaging thing, but hey, well, I really appreciate you coming over and joining me for this multiplayer video. I gotta do this again sometime. If you want to be invited, let me know. If you don't want to be invited, I take no offense.
I'm missing some stuff from like
Oh,
the Southern Hemisphere. That'd be nice
I will try to
to
set that
get.
up for next time. Then I'll contact one of my friends in the Southern Hemisphere and we'll
Sweet.
see. You let me know what type of bug you're missing so I can try and get the time zone set up for you. For now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll
For
double
now,
check
that
that.
wraps up today's video of Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all in future videos. Bye-bye, humans! Whoosh! Hey, thank you for watching my video all the way to the end. If you want to show your support, one of the best things you can do is leave a comment down below. So if you have anything nice you want to say about the video, or if you have any questions, I'll try to respond to whatever I can at my earliest convenience. Either way, your support means a lot and I really appreciate it. I hope to see you all in the future. Bye-bye!